Hello, this is Anne again. I'd like to introduce the formal analytical report uh, here in week 6. This was the final research report for the class, the only assignment that you have to finish, and we'll be spending from now until the end of the semester on it. It's a formal paper with 8 to 12 pages. They'll be single spaced with headings with all of the parts of a formal research paper, starting with the title page and table of contents. What I'd like to talk about right now is if you refer to the model in chapter 23 on page 566 and following, and the references page for this model paper uh, is on page 709 in your text. But looking at page 566 here, you see the running head at the very top, which is just a brief, just one or two words taken right out of your title, feasibility analysis of a career in technical marketing for the professor, technical writing instructor, and the university by the student and the class name. And let me scroll down here to the next page is the table of contents, and you'll see all of the headings that are required. Now your headings may look different from this one, and we'll talk about that more later. But here's the abstract, the introduction, a data section, a comparison of entry options, conclusion with summary and recommendations, and the last page for the references. Now notice that the figures and tables are presented separately, but in the same table of contents. Let's go to the next page and we'll see the abstract. This will probably be something that you write at the very end after your report is done, and it is your full summary of the contents of the report. What I wanted to talk about today was to make sure that your APA use of citations and references is correct and appropriate. Most people they've used in-text citations before, and they've put all of their source bibliographical information on the references page. But I'm not sure how many people realize that there is a key connection between the two, and that is this word that gets alphabetized under references, whether it's the author, like Anson here, or if it's the first word of an organization or institution, like this Bureau of Labor Statistics, author, here's Intel Corporation, and other authors, that word that gets alphabetized under references must appear in either the parenthetical citation in your text or in the sentence that contains the parenthetical citation. So let's just go through a few of the examples, beginning with the introduction on page 1 of the feasibility analysis. This first paragraph has 1, 2, 3 different citations. So let's check to make sure that the first word appears in alphabetical order under references. So we see Bureau of Labor Statistics, and yes, we go over here to the references and we see Bureau of Labor Statistics. But now look at the problem. Look how many bureaus there are. 1, 2, 3, 4 different ones, all with different years and different titles. So you have to include the year. That's just standard APA. Look what else they've done with Bureau of Labor Statistics. Because there are four of them mentioned here under references, they've put in brackets BLS for the abbreviation so that later on, when they are citing any of those four sources, they don't have to write out that four-word phrase. They can just use the abbreviation. Okay, so this one is an appropriate use, Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS 2006, page 14. We're going to ask that students just include page numbers always, whether it's only a quotation or a paraphrase or a use of a fact or a statistic. Really try to use that page number, whatever the situation, or paragraph if the pages are not evident. Okay, let's look at this next example. Experts Hira and Hira have suggested that the offshoring situation threatens the livelihood of some of the best paid workers in America, 2005. See how it's divided. The Hira reference to the authors, and here they appear on the references page, so that's good. But they are not included in the parentheses because they're already mentioned as part of the sentence. You don't need to be redundant and repeat them again. All right, here's the third one. University career counselor Troy Behrens offers one disturbing fact. All right, we'll look for Behrens' last name, and then we go under references, but there is no Behrens listed, and that is because this counselor is not the source. He was merely used and cited in Jacobs 2007. So it is this citation in parentheses that we follow and match up down here to the references. Jacobs, MA 2007. All right. When you have four different references to Bureau of Labor Statistics, I know I started to mention this before, but you have to distinguish them, in this case, by year, because all of these have different years, from 2006, 2008, to 2009A and 2009B. That will always let your reader get to the correct source. The year alone will do this here. But say what would happen if this BLS citation, if all four of them were from 2006? Then what you'd have to do is go to the next word. You'd have to say BLS 2006 occupation, or BLS 2006 sales, or BLS 2006 advertising. The point always is, and it's just common sense really, the point always is to allow your reader to, it's a courtesy really, to have access to the original source material. And so you need to give enough information along with that key connecting word in the in-text citation to get them to the references page and the complete bibliographical information. All right, so that's enough for page 1. Let's slide down here to the second data section of the feasibility analysis. And we'll just check the one parenthetical is Cornelius and Lewis. And note this little ampersand. I mean, whenever do you get to use ampersands in any kind of a document? Well, the answer is in an APA document. If you have two different authors who are the sources for any article, then you just use the ampersand. You use it here as well as in the references page, Cornelius and Lewis. All right, here's the first use of a figure, figure 1, the technical marketing process. Now this was probably pretty easily accessed online, and this student probably just did a simple copy paste from the online source into the Word document, and that's fine as long as you do this in-text source citation. Now, with any of the figures or tables, they do not appear, the source does not appear under References page, but only here, the full citation, full bibliographic information in the text. And we'll talk more about figures and visual design later and how to label and talk about them. All right, we're going to page 3 and the employment outlook, and we see another figure again with the in-text. This doesn't want to it doesn't want to highlight all the way, but you see the source that is full complete information given right under the figure 2. And here's another parenthetical, last name Tolland, 2010, and it matches up under References, Tolland, 2010. All right, let's go to one more example. And here we have other skills and qualities required. Business Week's Peter Coy offers. Now here we have a source in the sentence, introduced in the sentence, along with a direct quote, indented long quote, and the 2004 with the page number is at the end. Again, we don't have to repeat Coy in the parenthetical because it's redundant. It's already there in the sentence. Now let's look at this figure 3, required people skills for a technical marketing career. And I asked, why isn't this source cited? Well, because the student probably created this figure on his own. So it's not necessary. Okay, one other example of a source that is not necessary to put on the references page, and that is this personal interview. We've got career counselor Phil Hawkins, and this was just a phone call or an interview, face-to-face, maybe even email. You just specify it. You just give the citation in text only. It does not appear. You do not see Philip Hawkins listed here under references because primary sources are taken care of right in the text. All right. That about does it. So if you have any questions, I just wanted to give sort of an overview of how the sources will be used and documented. The next stage is to go to the library. You've all got topics okayed by now. So the next step is to go to the library online databases and find at least 7 sources that pertain to your topic, and we'll start with source evaluation in week 7. Give me a call or email if you've got questions.